What is the deepest hatred to treat one's brother like this? It all starts with the birth of Simpa. At that time there was a king in this glorious kingdom. His name was Mufasa. Under his rule, the land was prosperous. Therefore, he was admired and obeyed by all the animals. On this day, Mufasa was finally blessed with a son. He was the future King Simba. At this time there was one person who was not happy. It was the king's brother Scar. Because of Simpa's arrival, it was clear that the throne would not be his turn. Not only did he ignore the king's invitation, but he also wanted to kill Zazu, who came to deliver the message. Fortunately, Mufasa arrives just in time to stop everything. Looking at Scar with a provocative look, Mufasa felt his authority was being challenged. He was ready to teach Scar a lesson. Scar was scared at that moment. Scar had to find an excuse to leave, but Scar always held a grudge. So one day, Scar found little Simpa. He told Simpa that there was a place in the kingdom where only the truly brave had been. Simpa always wanted to prove to his father that he was brave, but what he didn't know was that it was all a plot by Scar. So Simpa took Nala and left home. Although accompanied by Zazu, the cunning Simpa was able to get away from him. Simpa takes Nala to this mysterious area. They don't know that this is hyena territory. The cautious Nala keeps advising Simpa to go back early, but Simpa is too expressive and refuses to leave. At that moment, the hyenas that had been waiting for them suddenly showed up. They soon surrounded them. Hyenas never have enough food in their stomachs. Once the two lion cubs came to their door, they couldn't wait. The queen hyenas kept approaching Simpa to finish him off. Luckily, Zazu appeared even though he warned the hyenas not to challenge Mufasa's authority. Hearing Mufasa's name, the hyena queen is instantly enraged. Luckily, Zazu reacted quickly or the two young lions would have been in trouble. The two of them flew through the hyena's hole. After constant dodging, they finally escaped. But this is always hyena territory, and it looks like they can't escape. In a life-or-death situation, Simpa tried to use the lion roar to deter the hyenas, but his own roar sounded like a cat's purr and drew ridicule from the whole crowd. At that moment a lion roars and it turns out that the father has killed in. Mufasa, the Lion King, fights off all the hyenas. He held his son Simpa close behind him. This moment shows the king's style. Before leaving, he warned the hyena queen never to come near Simpa. This powerful sense of oppression scared the hyena queen out of her heart. The hyenas can only watch Simpa and they leave. Scar did not give up, but came directly to the hyena territory to talk to the hyenas about cooperation. Scar promises that as long as he is on the throne, the hyenas can hunt as much as they want, and then there will be an endless supply of food. The hyenas agree to this cooperation. After the last time Simpa was fascinated by her father's roar. Taking advantage of this, Scar leaves Simpa alone in the valley to practice his barking. What he doesn't know is that his uncle Scar will join forces with the hyenas against him. The hyenas are already chasing a large herd of bison towards the valley. At that moment Simpa feels a strong vibration on the ground, but it was too late. The herd was already coming towards him. Seeing this, little Simpa ran away. After a lot of hard work, he finally climbed a dead tree branch. At the same time, Scar went to report to Mufasa. Scar wanted to kill them together. Hearing that Simpa is in danger, Mufasa rushes to the scene. After his tireless efforts, he succeeded in rescuing Simpa, but Mufasa was swept away by a herd of bison. When Simpa was worried about her father, Mufasa suddenly jumped out. Mufasa struggled to climb up, and Simpa was cheering for her father in her heart. Mufasa had climbed to the top, and Scar watched the scene indifferently. It waited for this opportunity for a long time, and directly made a move to push Mufasa down. Since the view was blocked, Simpa only saw his father fall from the cliff. He did not know it was Scar's doing. When the herd dispersed, young Simpa rushed to his father's side. As his father fell to the ground without moving, he repeatedly kept trying. Only then did Simpa realize that his father, once a powerful man, had left him forever. He clung to his father's side and refused to leave. At this moment, Scar, who has succeeded in his plot, rushes over to accept his results. Faced with Simpa's insane guilt and self-blame, Scar directly lets Simpa leave the kingdom of glory forever with the guilt. However, Scar would not really let him go. Scar gives the order and the hyenas go on a wild goose chase for Simpa. Poor little Simpa fell into the abyss. The hyena queen tells her men to go check it out. The two hyenas are lazy and don't want to go down. When reporting back to the queen, they lie and say that Simpa has been eaten by them, when in fact Simpa did not fall to her death. Scar is tricking all the lions in the kingdom of glory. After that, Scar successfully took the throne. he did not forget his promise to the hyenas. Scar will rule the kingdom of glory with all the hyenas. The darkest moment of the Pride Kingdom has begun. Poor little Simpa didn't know about it. He crosses the desert with a lot of guilt. He finally collapses from exhaustion. The fainted little Simpa attracts a flock of vultures. Just as they are about to eat Simpa, a wild boar rushes from afar. They take pleasure in ramming the vultures. An unintentional act saved Simpa. After Timon the meerkat confirmed that Simpa was a lion, they were so scared that they ran away. But the good-natured ones were still hesitant. Just then, little Simpa woke up. An enthusiastic Timon and Pumbaa introduced themselves, but Simpa was depressed all the time, and it was clear that he hadn't come out of the shadows yet. For this reason, Timon and Pumbaa kept comforting Simpa. With their guidance, Simpa gradually relaxed, and he quickly settled into their lives. After an unknown period of time, little Simpa slowly grew up, until one day, the wild boar Pumbaa was chased by a lioness. Fortunately, Simpa appeared in time to save Pumbaa. After the fight, Simpa realized that the lioness was his good friend Nala. This was so unexpected. The wild boar Pumbaa had just been chased and almost wet his pants. Nala tells Simpa that the Pride Kingdom is now destroyed. The hyenas went on a hunting spree led by Scar, and the animals were scared off and never came back. The hyenas are preying on the lions every day, and the pride is in fear every day. In response, Simpa's mother tried to protest, but in return, Scar sanctioned the food for the rest of the pride. Each time the food is leftover garbage from the hyenas, Nala decides to go out and look for help. Just around the corner, she encounters Scar. The keen Scar senses that something is wrong and keeps searching. Luckily, Zazu appears in time and lures Scar away from them. Nala escapes and eventually escapes. Nala persuaded Simpa to return to inherit the throne. Simpa was unwilling to go back, and the two of them had to part ways. Simpa is reluctant to go back because he can't let go of his past, thinking that he killed his father. After a full night of contemplation, Simpa finally came to his senses. He let out a roar of rage. This time it was not a cat's cry. The Lion King dominance returned. With a steely gaze, he darted towards the direction of the Pride Kingdom. On the way, he meets Nala again, and they travel together. After their tireless efforts, they finally entered the territory of the Pride Kingdom. The bones of animals and the lifeless land were all over the place. Simpa's thoughts were overwhelmed at this moment. Just then, Zazu, who was on patrol, came to see the king. Pumbaa the boar and Timon the meerkat catch up with them from behind. They are about to fight side by side with Simpa. Looking at the hyena guards in front of them, they decided to make a diversion, and Pumbaa, a wild boar with a lot of meat, becomes the first choice of bait. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Simpa and Nala manage to enter the hinterland of the country. Meanwhile, Simpa's mother is still fighting for the interests of the herd, but what she didn't expect was that it angered Scar. In the nick of time, Simpa arrives just in time. Scar was shocked. He could not imagine that Simpa was not dead. Simpa wanted to go up and tear Scar to pieces, but the cunning Scar uncovered Simpa's scars again. Scar reveals that Mufasa was killed by Simpa. The lions who didn't know the truth were dumbfounded. Even Simpa herself is in the middle of a guilt trip. Scar rushed to seize the opportunity. Fierce accusations will Simpa step by step forced to the cliff. At that moment, a lightning bolt instantly causes a big fire. At this point, Simpa is in danger. This scene is deja vu, exactly the same as when Scar killed Mufasa. And now, he wants to do it again to Simpa. Delighted, he tells Simpa the truth. In a fit of rage, Simpa bites Scar's mane. Faced with Simpa's accusation, Scar could no longer refute it and had to order the hyenas to officially go to war. Under the leadership of Simpa, the lions and hyenas of the century battle officially began. On the other hand, Pumbaa and Timon, who came to support him, are also in danger. The hyenas mock Pumbaa for being a fat man. Pumbaa instant battle power to fight the hyenas all ran away. Perhaps not enough. Pumbaa rushes into the main battlefield. On the other side, Nala faced a dozen hyenas surrounding her and still threw the hyena queen down the abyss. Under Simpa's leadership, the hyenas soon started to run away with their tails between their legs. At this point, Scar ready to escape, with Simpa chasing after her. Scar was caught in a desperate situation. At this point, Scar began to play pathetic again, crying that he was forced to do so by the hyena. Simpa did not intend to kill him because he was his own uncle. Instead, he let Scar leave the kingdom of glory forever, but Simpa still underestimated Scar's sinister and darkness. Just then Scar attacked Simpa. Faced with such a despicable Scar, Simpa was not going soft. With his tireless efforts, Scar was thrown into the abyss. Simpa has successfully avenged his father's death. Scar did not die after falling off the cliff. he was in even greater danger of death, because the hyena pack has surrounded him. Hyena's stomach is never enough to eat. This is probably the ending that will make all the viewers' hearts flutter. After the fight of the century, Simba regains his family's lost dignity. In the presence of the lions, he ascends to the throne. Finally, under Simba's wise governance, everything in the Kingdom of Glory is restored. Animals have returned because it is known that following the Lion King has meat to eat.